and one of the attendees wants to bring us right back to the beginning, and I will follow that lead. And says, hey, give me some specific selection criteria for a screening questionnaire for a prospective CDMO. So Scott, I'll start with you. So, what are the top, as many as you can name, 3, 4, 5 criteria when you're at that baseline? And I'm going to take out quality. I'm going to say that if the CDMO doesn't have quality, they're not going to be a CDMO. So let's not say they got to have quality. They must have quality. So
yeah,
give us some real detail to some screening so that you can get started with selecting your CDMO.
Yeah, so some screening to select your CDMO. Location.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you there. Location, Biosecure Act. People have to get out of China. It's a terrible situation, in my opinion. Not warranted, perhaps. But so what do you do now with location? If you were thinking of going, did you go to India? Do you just always stay in the United States or Europe? What are you thinking about when you say location currently?
So when I think about location, I'm thinking about my European company. So Genzyme is a European company in France, and when we need to release our and I guess this goes for any company, when we really need to release our material in Europe, especially commercial material, that material DP must be tested in a European lab. So now then, does the CDMO I've chosen have labs in a European, in an EU country so that they can do that testing for me and they can monitor that? Or must I find a European lab that'll do that DP testing for me, do a transfer to that lab of that assay, and then do all the validation that goes along with it? Or can I expect my CDMO to do that? So if I want to only release in Europe, I might choose somebody in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what I'm saying? It depends on what that is, but that's a location issue.
Okay, very good. So what's another one or two maybe?
Another one or two is experience of staff, and I think that some people have already asked that. How long have they been around? How much do they know these processes? Are they willing to understand my process and learn from me if necessary?
So does that mean that you ask the CDMO for resumes or for backgrounds on the actual scientists or engineers in the plant who are going to be working with you?
Yeah, in my opinion, it could be that. A lot of that comes during the site visit. So you do get to meet a lot of people during a site visit and you get to take the pulse of them. It is an interview in sorts. Mm-hmm. So you're spending that time to interview those people, to talk with them and see what their experience are. You can, in the audit, of course, look at their training records.
Okay, one more then. So we've got location, experience of staff.
Willingness to allow on-site personnel for either visits or for persons in plant to view, and what kind of rules are around that. I think they are also very important.
Very good, very good. Vaibhav, what would you add to that list? Is there something you'd add to that list?
Yeah, so I would add, let's say, availability of CDMO itself, because in my experience, we have had one CDMO that told us they cannot accommodate any project for 2 years. So even though, let's say, CDMO is good fit for you, you also have to, let's say, consider whether they are available or not for your project. Mm-hmm. So right. That is one of the things to consider or keep in mind.
Right. So we're talking capacity, the ability to start a program. Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Okay, so raw capacity, can they do the project or not? Obviously, that's going to be a great key to whether you work with them or not.
Yeah,
Praveen,
but
anything you'd add to that?
Um, Another angle on expertise, a lot of CDMOs will tell you what is the education level of their staff. So I was at one CDMO and they said anyone who's on our plant floor has to have a bachelor's degree as a minimum. And then I think this one happened to be an international CMO. All supervisors and above are required to pass the English proficiency exam. So that, that's another way of seeing what experience looks like. Again, I talked about the friend network. There are some products that I've now started seeing where you can get quote unquote online reviews of CDMOs, believe it or not. So that might be a resource for you. And then another resource, there is at least one resource by a large data company where they can, through looking at customs records, to be honest, they can figure out what products are made where, and they have all that information aggregated. So you can figure out, well, this particular CMO, they say they have 7 commercial products here. Can I figure out what those 7 commercial products? Well, if you go to that particular database, you can probably figure out what those 7 products, what those 7 products are and who owns them. So you get an idea. Oh, Pfizer works here, and J&J works here, and Eli Lilly works here, and maybe that will give you some confidence in, or lack of confidence, because you don't see that there on who is at that CDMO. So those are other things that you can look at.